This is the Sisterhood Society podcast, where three sisters talk life, food, fashion, kids, and everything in between. Become part of our sisterhood where everyone is welcome at our table. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Sisterhood Society podcast. We're so excited to dive into another episode. And today's topic is going to be called Summer Bucket List. And Tara's actually doing this kind of fun thing for her kids, but we kind of got to talking about like how to be more intentional with the season and your family or your spouse, and how to make this season more like memorable and not letting the summer fly by and get back into, summer festivity or fall festivities without having some intentional family time. So anyways, before we get into that entire topic, we're going to start with what's good in the sisterhood, and I'm going to start with.
So I was talking about this with Whit over the weekend, but we had a cookout. We had Whit and Isaac over and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. And it was the second week in a row that we had hosted, it just makes my party planning heart so happy. And so that was one thing that I had kind of told myself, that I feel like in this process of reclaiming my life, whether it's with health and fitness or just overall, just kind of getting back to like my core loves. And one was party planning. Mm-hmm. And so I truly enjoy having people in my home and like making a meal plan or like making up a menu and having people over and like, just, I want my house to always be warm and inviting. And so everybody came and we ate too much food. Brian nailed the smoked pork on the smoker. We've had a smoker for years and we just really haven't utilized it, and we just finally got it down, and it was great.
Or as Tara likes to call it, smork.
I called it smorked pork. A hard word to
Full
say.
disclosure, we already tried to do what you're going to say.
I said it's a hard word to say. Smoked pork.
It is. I was going to say we're trying to podcast again because, full disclosure, we already did one and then we were kind of like rushed for time. So we're doing a new topic and then saving that one for another day. So anyways, what is your good?
We finally decided what plants we wanted to plant in the backyard, and I found them at Owen's Nursery, thanks to knowing how Brian loves that place. So we got ornamental grasses and
the people
daisies.
Are there very helpful?
Well, yes, they are. I didn't ask for their help, but they seemed very willing to help me if I needed it. But we ended up going with ornamental grasses and daisies and 2 lavender plants. And thankfully, they're the type of plants that are going to come back every year, and I don't have to do much to them.
They're called perennials, right?
I think so.
So I always got this mixed up with plants.
It's so confusing.
Because you think of like this is an annual event that you have every single year. Yeah. But annuals are ones you have to plant every year. Perennials are the ones that come back. It's very confusing.
Yeah, and like
that is confusing.
Isn't that weird?
Who chooses annuals over perennials?
Yeah.
Like, why would you choose to replant something every freaking year?
It makes no sense.
No, I don't get it.
So why do you call it an annual event instead of a perennial event?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Maybe because it may not happen, but like if it's annual,
I don't
know. Anyway,
the gardening world is just confusing, full of mystery.
What about you, Kate?
So my brother-in-law and sister-in-law moved in with us for my brother-in-law has been here for almost a month, and then my sister-in-law has been here for 2 weeks, and they're both leaving today, and I feel very sad about it. But my sister-in-law's 30th birthday was on Sunday, and I'm like a big birthday person. Like, Phil said that about our family. He's like, you guys are like over the top with birthdays. He's like, this family loves birthdays, and like half of our family's birthday is in the summer. So like our mom kind of conglomerates like all of our birthdays together in June, and like she's throwing like a really big birthday party for it's like me, Whit, Isaac, Phil, who else? Brian.
Dad.
And then Dad and I have the same birthday.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Brecken, Briley, and Briggs. Yeah, they're all May to August.
It's like wild. So anyways, we're doing a little like pizza party.
The only one in the fall.
Literally. You are the only one in the fall because Ever, Indy, and Britain are all like January, February.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And then Mom's is April. Yeah. So they're kind of spread out, but for the most part, like 75% of our family's birthday is in the summer. But anyways, so we just we got up early and decorated. You know how I do those ambiances from YouTube when I read? I actually did I get you into it, Whitney?
Yeah, I do it
I feel
all
like
the
I
time.
do.
Isaac and the boys are like, "Oh, not this music again."
Basically, it's like these people make like an animated room or outdoor space that has like jazz music in the back. So it could be like you're sitting at a Parisian cafe or like you're in a Chicago apartment at nighttime. It's like kind of funny. But, anyways, I found one for Happy Birthday. So that it just said like Happy Birthday on my TV and it was playing like a jazz version of Happy Birthday when she came downstairs. Anyways, we just did like a full day of like festivities and it was really fun and special. So, anyways, they're both leaving today and I'm very sad. So, I'm going to have to distract myself somehow today. But we are going to jump right into our summer bucket list. We
Let's
thought it would
hope
be fun
his
to
first
talk
concert doesn't end with how my dream ended. So
it's true. With Jason Derulo or
yes. I had a dream.
So weird.
I had a dream that I went to Mara Morris's concert with my sister-in-law, and in the auditorium or the stadium was like actually like church pews. It was like super weird, and her sound wasn't working, which he's not doing sound. That's per se, but
he's doing no playback audio. Yeah.
And she was getting really mad and she was doing a duet with Jason Derulo. And as it was like these like steps that they were like going around in a circle. And as she like came around, she like started yelling at them and she was like, "Get the sound right, you a-holes." and then out of nowhere, these explosives started going off. And so we had to like dive under the church pews and the whole place cleared out. Weird. And then it took us forever. We couldn't find our car. We couldn't remember where we parked. And so we like went 3 miles in the wrong direction to then have to come like 3 miles back. It was bizarre.
Dreams are the weirdest. Yeah. I actually had a dream last night that Isaac and I went to this like random mall to go to a crumble cookie. And somehow we found this.
That doesn't feel that far off of real life.
No, it's not. But somehow we like found this door and were able to get in line, but we apparently had cut into the line where it was only like 5 people in front of us. And the rest of the people had waited like 45 minutes to an hour behind us. And we were like, oh shoot. But we were like up next. So we were like, whatever.
You cut in line.
We cut in line apparently.
The people in East Peoria would not be happy.
Oh no, they would not.
Those people have been waiting in line for like over an hour.
I know, it's crazy. But in my dream, they had like way more flavors. So we got a box of like 24 crumble cookies and they were all different flavors. And I woke up feeling 1, really fat because I had eaten all these crumble cookies, and 2, really sad that it wasn't real.
That's really... I was going to say, Phil gets mad at me when I get the box of 6 because you can get like 4, 6 or a party box, which is 12. And anytime I get 6, he's like, oh, everyone's going to leave and then we're going to be left with these cookies and I'm going to eat them. And he gets like so mad. Did you see that Crumble just came out with a cookie cutter?
Yeah.
That you can order now, like with, yeah, I know. I'm like, why didn't they come out this sooner? It's like a 4-prong thing that like cuts your cookie into slices. It's pretty genius.
I need to get one of those. Apple core and do the same thing.
You
could, or just a knife. But I was like, this is kind of nice. Like,
just a knife.
You're like 1 slice, 2 slice, too hard. We need.
I need the branded slicer.
A swift slice. A swift slice through.
That's funny.
It would be very satisfying, I feel like, to have the crumble slicer. But okay, so we're going to dive in. We're each going to share about 3 ideas of things that we feel like we want to do this summer. So last summer for us, at least for me, was not what I would call intentional. Like, I feel like, post-pandemic, I feel like a lot of people are dealing with, like, we were just talking about this. My mom and my sister-in-law were talking about the emotions of the pandemic and like how you're dealing with like your outcomes or how disappointment from things you missed out on and like weddings and, kids that didn't get to walk graduations. And I just feel like this summer feels like a fresh start for a lot of people just because we're kind of moving away from like the craziness that our world went through. And I think people are really looking for like that connection this summer and just ways to kind of like do things that we haven't had the opportunity to do the last couple of summers because of the state of the country or the world, I should say. So anyways, we thought this would be a fun kind of like lighthearted topic and just kind of to bring that intentionality back in this season when your kids are out of school or the weather's nice. Okay, Tara, why don't you start?
we were talking about, I mean, when you think about and break down summer, it's really not that much time. You know, I
It's
mean, when you're a
not.
kid, it feels forever, right? Before you go back to school and stuff like that. But you really only have like 10 weeks home with your kids.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of weekends. And you start realizing if you don't make use of even the weeknights, it goes by really fast. I mean, even me
Right.
trying to talk to like friends and things like that and get something scheduled, we're already into July and it's like it's only the 7th of June, you know. So it's crazy how fast it goes. So last summer we started this like summer bucket list plan and it imploded around Kate's birthday because just a lot of stuff work wise came up and we didn't get a chance to finish it. So this summer I wanted to redeem kind of what last summer was not. And I have a friend, I shouldn't say I have a friend. We have a friend named Kristen Booth who has a company called Coral and James, and she has really, really cute printables. And one of them was a summer bucket list. And so I printed it off. It's cute, like turquoise, and I laminated it so that way we could like write down different ideas that we wanted to do. There's like a pre-printed list, and then there's a list with where you make your own ideas. And so what we've been doing is we've been letting the kids like pick a couple ideas off of there and then we choose one to do. And then our babysitter does them with the kids too, so that they get to do fun things during the day. So that way they just look back at summer and like, you know, full, it's not that they have to have constantly have an activity because I want them to still enjoy the pool and just like sitting still at home and reading a book or whatever, but just trying to like really be intentional with the time that we do have. So one thing that I've been working on obviously is doing more cookouts and like having our friends over because it literally the summer comes and goes and you're like, I didn't even invite them over to like swim like one time. So that's one thing that I'm doing is just being more intentional with inviting people over. And okay, but that's I'll stop there and let you guys talk. But that's one thing that I'm trying to be more intentional with is inviting friends and family over for cookouts or to swim and just be able to spend time with people that we love.
Mom, so for Libby's birthday on Sunday, we made a reservation for 4 at Restoration Hardware Cafe, which is like basically the dreamiest place ever. And Phil couldn't go because he had rehearsals with Kelsey for tour. And so Mom took Phil's spot. Like Libby invited Mom.
Oh, funny.
And Libby was like, Mom, yeah, she was like, Mom, I have a picture of me and Mom, but Mom had something in her teeth and we didn't realize it until later. So I didn't post it. I was like, oh shoot. So we talked about it later and Libby was like, Candy, I'm so glad like you joined us. And my mom's like, my sister told me once, if someone invites you to go somewhere, you should say yes. And she was just saying like, if someone took the effort and the thought enough to like want you to be there, you should like, you know, you should say yes. So it was interesting because I was like, I feel like I'm pretty good about that. Like, I feel like I'm pretty present at things, but it is an interesting perspective of like, I never regret like going when someone's invited me to their birthday party or to grab lunch with them, like that intentional time with friends that they wanted you there. You know what I mean? And mom's so good about that. Like, she's a very present, not only mother, but friend, I feel like, to so many. Okay, Whitney, let's talk about your first bucket list item.
So mine are like days that I want to do, not just like one item here and there. So one day I want to go to Peoria, which is this neighboring town. But there's this like French bakery called Ardor.
Yeah. Ardor.
I'm
not exactly sure how it's pronounced.
Anyways, if you know me, you know I love a good croissant. I love a good baked good. And croissants are something I haven't attempted to try myself. So I like being able to buy them. So I want to go to Ardor. And then there's a coffee place near there that Krista works at. And I actually was going to do this the other weekend, but I didn't end up having time to do it. So I want to go visit her and have her make me a latte. And then I want to take the kids to the Peoria Zoo because it's better than our zoo here in town.
You must be.
What?
You also want to stop at Crumble?
Oh, Crumble if I have time. I live out my dream of getting a 24 pack.
You gotta let it die down just a smidge because right now the line is
insane. I think you do an online order and it'd be fine. But anyways, that is my one day that I want to do this year. Take the kids to the Peoria Zoo, get a good coffee, get a good croissant, get a good cookie. It's a lot of food, but I'm prepared.
That's fine.
Kate,
I love that.
What's a bucket list?
I was laughing about this because we were on a walk a couple days ago. I can't remember if I already said this on the podcast or not, but we were on a walk a couple of weeks ago and Phil's like, "What do you want to do for your birthday this year?" And I was like, "I want to wake up, go to a coffee shop, get breakfast. Then I want to go book shopping and just buy like a bunch of books and then come home and cook a meal." And then I was like, but then again, I do that every Saturday. And Phil was like, "Wow, you must be living life pretty good if your birthday or like your dream day is every Saturday." And I was like, you know what? I do live pretty good. Um, but I was just laughing about that. I was like, because that is like my ideal day, but I do that a lot of Saturdays. One thing that we and Phil have talked about doing is having a phoneless day. And there's this really cute park in not Green Hills, in 12 South called Sevier Park. And it's like sometimes they have live music, sometimes they don't, but it's like a place where a lot of people go and like picnic in the park. And so we were going to go actually 2 weekends ago, and that ended up like raining later in the afternoon, so we didn't end up going. But like I feel like because we run a business from our phones, like it's really hard to, I almost feel like my phone became like an appendage on my body like the last like couple of years. And the older I get, the more I want to be removed from that, especially in moments that I'm like we talked about with your laptop, like nothing's going to get accomplished in the next 2 hours. That's like more important than this moment being present. So we talked about like doing phoneless day, picnic at the park combined. Because again, like nothing dire is going to happen in 2 hours being at the park. So that's one thing I've actually been challenging myself to be on social media less outside of work, just because I felt like it was like disturbing how much time essentially that I had, and it just feels like not only mindless, but it just kind of sometimes feels like a waste. So outside of like doing social media for work, I was just kind of like, I need a limit, not that like I'm getting rid of it forever, but limit how much I'm doing that. So
Nice. I like the phoneless park idea.
What's next? Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to do with the kids is in Indy, there's a place called the Cake Bake Shop. And it is basically everything is like twinkle lights and fairies and like just like they do magic glitter dust and stuff. They have you book, make a wish at the end of your meal, and you can do almost like a tea. It's like a little tea room basically, but they have like a full bakery that has these unbelievable cakes, and it's just like a super cute environment. Everything is all white or like creamy and like light pinks, and in the summer they do like these big oversized mushrooms. It feels like you're at something at Disney. But anyway, I've always thought it would be fun to schedule a day, probably on a weekday because they're weekend, and have the girls dress up in dresses and then take them out there and do like a little girls' day where we, go eat lunch and have a big piece of cake. So
cute.
That's cute.
So that's something that I've wanted to do with them.
You do realize Briggs will probably want to be involved if there's cake.
Yes, that kid he's super picky with what he's eating right now, but he never is picky about snacks. Never. So he does not discriminate.
That's cute.
That's funny.
So the next thing I want to do with my kids.
Does it involve food?
Actually, this one
does
not. So I want to do the farmers market. Well, I guess that's food.
Yeah.
The farmers market, because I like
farmers market's good.
They have really good veggies and stuff like that. It's just
and
fun
that
to kind of
bakery
walk
that we like is there.
Yes. So I actually bought sourdough bagels from them this past week.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You went to the farmers market?
Yeah.
And you didn't tell me?
Well, no.
Well, no.
I forgot.
I feel like we disclose everything to each other.
Yeah, that's weird. I'm shocked that I did not tell you, especially since we went to the place that we like.
Yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot of selection by the time we went, though. That place has a really long line outside of it.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, because everybody wants it. Anyways, farmers market, first thing I want to do. Second, I want to go to Target and get like backyard, like pool toys, things for the kids, because we're now utilizing our backyard a lot more. Also, third thing, we have this massive bush. I think it's a hydrangea, but it's like giant. Like the hydrangeas on it are massive. And we had our old dog's like
kennel.
Yeah, no, it was like a ice. What's that called?
Doghouse.
Yeah, a doghouse underneath it, and the bush actually like grew around it. So now that we had sold off we had to put her down because she had stomach cancer. Anyways, now we have this like big hole in this bush. I thought it'd be kind of cute if I actually like made it into almost like a little hideout for the kids and put like twinkle lights in there and like put down like a floor of some sort so that that way they have kind of like a little
fort.
Like a
like a
fort.
little fort. So I want to do
That's
that. And yes, that's the end of day 2.
That's so funny. Mine are kind of days too, because I like creating like a whole vibe around the day. This is like so far-fetched, and whether or not I do this or not, I feel like I would have to like con mom to coming with me. But there's a bookstore in Chattanooga called, oh shoot, now I can't even think of the name, but it's like a mini house. Yeah, it's
That's
like 2 hours
It's a
away.
commitment.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It would be like a really long day. But there's a really cute bookstore in Chattanooga that's in a house, and it's owned by I think 2 women. And I follow this really cute book YouTuber that always goes there and like posts about it, and they just have like really dreamy like events, and the store is really cute. And I don't know, I just think it'd be cute to go there for a day. But I was thinking a lot about grandma lately and like what she would make in the summertime. And I was thinking I can't remember if I did this last summer or if it was 2 summers ago, but I was craving my favorite dessert of all time is grandma's peach cream pie. And you can technically do other fruit with it, but the cream pie with peach, in my opinion, is the best. And so like farmer's market, getting ripe peaches, and then, bless you, and then making her pie while watching a Nancy Meyers movie.
Sorry.
Bless you again.
My allergies are terrible this time of year.
Last episode, it was Tara's cough.
That sounds like a lovely day. Actually,
Doesn't it?
baking is one thing that I'm really good at and I don't do ever.
Mhm.
Like,
Maybe I can
actually-
get you in
well-
on my next summer bucket list.
yeah,
I was gonna say, I feel like you bake a lot. No?
I used to. I haven't in a while. I need
Yeah.
to, because I want my kids to grow up with like, baked goods around the house and not just like packaged snacks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
my next one, this actually made me think of it again because I've wanted to do it for years, never done it. But my next one was I posted, that granola I made over the weekend, right? Whit's
Yeah.
favorite granola that she hates me that I made it. And
It's so good.
it's so good and
It's
so
like
addicting.
it's like a sweet, salty, crunchy, chewy
Mhm.
explosion in your mouth.
Mhm.
And when it's like
Wow.
multiple things like that, it's like I'm a moth to a flame because it checks all the boxes. So it's so satisfying to eat and I cannot stay out of it.
It's Crispix and oatmeal and pecans and Teddy Grahams. Do you remember that one? And then it has like honey
Yeah.
and brown sugar and butter over it. And then you add a little bit of salt and
And
cinnamon.
oats. Did you say oats?
Yeah, oats.
Oh, just
and
kidding.
then you bake it at like 300 for like 30 minutes. And it's
Ugh.
fantastic. I should have made a double batch because it did not last long. But anyway, one of my friends had commented on it and said, oh my God, or wanted the recipe. And then I posted it and she's like, I would give anything for an AC cookbook. She's like, I pay a lot of money. And I was like, honestly, I actually have extras because I got new
Mhm.
ones for all my kids for grandma's cookbook. And I somehow ended up with at least one, if not 2 extras. And she's like, what can I give you for it? And I'm like, no, just literally take it. So she picked it up yesterday and I'm like, if you want, I can tell you which pages have all of our favorites on it. And she was
Yeah.
like, that would be amazing. So I went through the cookbook last night and it just reminded me of like all these different, like lemon bananas. Like when's the last time you've had lemon
Lemon
bananas?
bananas. Those are bomb.
Wait,
Mom
I
used
don't
to
remember
make
that.
those.
You don't?
Mom used to make them like every Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Remember?
We used to always have them. You slice the bananas in
No.
half.
Was I
and then
too
you-
little?
No.
We just had it like when we still lived in California.
Yeah. She used to make them in
You would know it.
California.
It has like chopped peanuts on top. And
It's
it's like a
almost like a pudding consistency.
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
anyway, what I've always wanted to do is cook through grandma's cookbook
Yeah.
from like start to finish.
Yeah.
kind of
and-
like a Julie and Julia, that
Mhm,
movie
yeah.
where she cooks through
Mhm.
Julia Child's cookbook.
And like try every recipe because
Mhm.
like there's tons in there, but when I looked it up, there was probably like 50 that we regularly use. I'm
Yeah.
like, these are like the epitome of Nussbaum favorites. But I'm like,
Mhm.
that book is like 380 pages long. And so
Right.
anyway, I was gonna say you could do it with me this summer, but I
I
was like,
could.
it would be fun to cook through it.
It would be fun.
So anyway, that's my next one.
So my next day, my next intentional day. This one's all for me though. I want to travel around to different bookstores. And you kind of actually already touched on that, but I want to go to like a bunch of different cute bookstores. We don't have a ton of cute ones here in town. We only have like Barnes and Noble. That feels like kind of cozy. But I want to go to all the cozy bookstores nearby.
Do we
Yeah.
have nearby bookstores?
I don't know. I need to look it up.
I bet there would be some in like the surrounding towns, like Champaign, I bet has one. I bet Peoria has a good one. There's like more availability in those cities, I feel like,
Yeah.
more than Bloomington would.
Here's the thing, though. I'm starting to realize I like reading off my Kindle more than I do an actual book.
Physical book.
Yeah, physical book.
But maybe you could read on your Kindle in the cute bookstore.
I could, or I could like get ideas of what books I want in the bookstore and buy them on my Kindle, which defeats the purpose because you want to make sure that you're supporting independent bookstores instead of Amazon.
Right.
Anyway,
I was gonna say I read faster on my Kindle, but I enjoy the vibes that a book brings me more. And like, I don't know why that is, but like going to a bookstore and like the joy of actually picking one out and like, let's be honest, not one. I pick out like 6 every time I go, but like reading the back and like having a stack and then going home with new books. And I don't know, that's just so much fun to do. Is there any used bookstores in Bloomington?
I think
There's
so.
gotta be.
I haven't
There's
actually
one
checked
downtown Bloomington.
Yeah, I believe there are.
The only other thing I wrote down was when Phil went on tour, I kind of failed at it, but I was trying to set up like a vibe for myself and things to do because I'm very extroverted. And last summer, Phil went on a tour that was like basically 3 months straight, which is very unusual. They're on a pop tour, not a country tour. And so I was like, I'm going to be so bored. I love being around people. I hate being home alone. Like, what am I going to do? And so I made a list of movies I had never seen that are like classic, like kind of more 80s and 90s, because I've seen most of the 90s. I feel like it was a lot of like 80s movies. Like I've never seen Dirty Dancing, and people like can't get over the fact that I've never seen Dirty Dancing.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I was gonna so what I did is I looked up my favorite like actresses and actors, like, and I wanted to like watch their backlist. So what's hilarious is this movie isn't even good, but I was like, oh, I'm going to watch all of the Julia Roberts movies I've never seen. And I watched, hang on, I got to find the name of it.
Or other?
Mystic Pizza was like
Pizza?
her first movie.
No, it was like a husband was cheating on her. Okay, I get Julia Roberts and Sandra Bullock mixed up. Oh, it was called Something to Talk About. And it's Dennis Quaid and Julia Roberts. Have you ever seen it?
Oh, yeah. I have seen that.
I've heard of it.
It was fine. Like, it wasn't like anything great. It only got a 39% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's like really bad. But it came out in 1995. But I was like, oh, this will be so fun. And like the clothing is like weirdly fashionable now. So that was like kind of funny because like the 90s are so in style. But anyways, I made myself this huge list of movies that I was going to watch. And I literally didn't watch a single one. I've also never seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which is odd.
Actually.
Oh, really? I feel like everyone's obsessed with that movie.
I just thought, it was okay. I didn't think it was amazing.
But anyways, I thought that would be fun to like revisit my movie list as well.
Yeah.
But we actually have a TV on our back patio porch, and we have like twinkle lights out there, and we have a fire table, and I sit out there to work most of the time just so I don't like get depressed working by myself because I'm by myself so much. But I was like, oh, it'd be fun to watch these outside. Okay. You guys want to wrap up your last one?
Yeah. One of the things that I wanted to spend time on this is we obviously have a pool, but I feel like in the midst of being pregnant, getting over being pregnant, getting ready to get pregnant again, I just feel like I haven't utilized the outdoor space as much as I would like to.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I want to really do even on weeknights is just like grill, be outside, eat outside, whatever. So for Father's Day, I got Brian, it's called a solo stove. So it's like it's supposed to be a fire pit that doesn't have as much smoke. That doesn't let off as much smoke as normal. And so I got that. So that'd be something that we can do outside. And then I want to get him a griddle insert for the grill so that we can do like bacon and eggs and like pancakes on it. You can also do like hibachi on it. You can do like smash burgers, whatever. Sky's the limit. And then I want to be able to do with the kids in the evening. I'd like to get one of those like projectors so we could do like a movie in the pool. So they could be like on rafts and watch the movie and like just project it onto that fence. So that's kind of like my last one.
That's cute.
Mine was, it's not really that interesting. It's the trampoline, go to the trampoline park with the kids.
You guys gonna need a membership?
That's fun.
They loved it last year.
I just had my babysitter go get my kids a membership so they could go once a week.
Yeah, they loved going last year, and the one by our house just like closed down. So I need to take them to the other one.
I'm going to end with some summer reading. I actually really love podcasts that do like themes around like what to read at Christmas time and like what to read in the summer. These are not all, they all have a summery vibe, but they're not like your typical like summer beach reads. So I thought that I actually put this stack together for myself. So I haven't read any of these. So if they're bad, don't come for me. But this is,
sorry.
So I'm going to run through these quickly and then we'll wrap up. So the first one is, oh, sorry, I just hit my microphone. Aline Hildebrand, 28 Summers. So I went through a blogger that had read like a bunch of Aline Hildebrand's books, and she said this one was her favorite. Aline Hildebrand and what's that other author, Whitney, that wrote Golden Girl?
Hannah something.
Oh, shoot. Golden Girl author. Oh, it's also Aline Hildebrand. Just kidding. There's another one named like Marianne Summers or something, but there's two like really famous like beach read authors, and Aline Hildebrand is like known for making like summery books, and they're like in Nantucket or like the Hamptons. Like everything is like a summery vibe at the beach, or like Charlotte, North Carolina. So anyways, that's a love story on the beach. This is a thriller that happens in the summertime. It's called The Last Mrs. Parrish by Liv Constantine. My favorite thriller of all time is The Wife Stalker by Liv Constantine, and this is supposed to be even better. It's like a someone stole your life type of vibe. This one's cheesy, but my girlfriend's reading it and told me I need to read it. It's The Royals Next Door. It's about a girl who lives in this neighborhood and like a literal prince moves in next door to her. I am trying to read. Yeah, exactly. That's like, this actually happened to someone a year ago in LA, you know? She's like, what? Meghan Markle? I'm reading all of Colleen Hoover's Backlist. Have you read this one, Whit?
Yeah, have you not read that
one? No, I've like took a hard pause on Colleen Hoover, but I'm back. Regretting You. This is like a mother-daughter story, and there's a love story intertwined. And then I have 3 more. This I got from Book of the Month Club. It's called Marrying the Ketchups by Jennifer Close. This is actually like set in downtown Chicago. So it's about like Wrigley Field and a family that owns a bar, I believe. And it's about like the Cubs. Yeah.
Is it about the year that they won?
No, it's about a family in Chicago. It just sounded like summery vibes. And I liked the cover. Their last name is Ketchup. I don't know. Looked cute. Okay. This is really exciting. This is called Darling Girl by Liz Michalski. And this is actually a Peter Pan retelling, but Peter Pan is the villain.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, so he steals Wendy. He steals Wendy, but he's the villain.
Okay, what's that one? I want to put it on my TBR.
It's called Darling Girl by Liz Michalski. This just came out last month, and I don't know if it's a debut or not, but it's like a fantasy, and it was one of the Book of the Month picks that you could pick last. And then this one I bought really from the cover, and it's about fashion. It's called The Other People's Clothes, and it's a mystery novel, and I think it's a murder mystery. Look at this cover, though.
That's a really
How many books do you pick based off of the cover versus ones you've in advance?
A lot.
Yeah.
So if you realize how important the cover art is.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Oh my gosh. This has nothing to do with like summer bucket list, but I watched one of the coolest YouTube videos I've ever watched recently. There's this really big YouTuber called Books and Lala. Her name's Lala. And well, that's actually not her name. That's her nickname. But she is really good at Photoshop. And she did this whole thing where she was going to guess what the book cover was going to be in these series. And she made her own version and then did a reaction when the cover came out and saw how similar it was going to be. And it was cool. Amazing. Like, and she kind of nailed it. Like, she was really close on all of them, and just she's really analytical. So her talking through like why she picked the colors and why she was predicting it was going to be white and like this type of font based on the author and like the series that she'd already read. It was like unbelievable. And I'll have to send you the link, Whitney, because I feel like you would like it.
Yeah.
But anyways, she's done it twice. So she has to like she has to record it like clips over time, because obviously she made the cover art way before the book cover came out. But it was really cool to like see the end result and see how close she got. But she was talking about how there's trends in book covers based on like the time of like that year. So like she shows like what's trendy in thrillers right now versus what's trendy in like romance novels, and how like the art really does like help make or break whether the book sells or not.
Speaking of that, okay,
Crazy.
so like the books like Dove and Serpent, or Serpent and Dove. Okay, that artwork alone, I don't even know if I would like that series, but that artwork alone, I'm like, it is so cool. It's like
Yeah, I
the
agree.
coolest. It's like so eye-catching and so rad that I'm like, I want to read this solely based on the book cover.
Agreed. I forgot to mention the author's name on this one is Kala, and then I didn't mention, I'm really bad at this, I should have done this better, but the Royals Next Door was Karina Hale.
Okay.
So hopefully you guys picked up on that. I'm so sorry. But here's what it looks like. Lots of blue, water, ocean, pools. I should give you guys like a list of things I've already read that are very summary that I can say like this is worth your time, because that would be fun too, because I can't actually speak to whether these are good. They're just what I'm reading this summer, so I'm not actually sure. But they all have high reviews. That's a question, an answer to your question, Tara. I don't usually buy things that I haven't seen a review of before or read, like Goodreads, because I only go into books blind very, very rarely. Like this one and the Marrying the Ketchups I bought because of the cover, and I went into those blind. So we'll see.
I follow a lot of Instagram accounts on books, and usually if a book is really good, I will see a lot of people posting about it.
Yeah.
So I'll go
there's
into
a trend.
I'll go into like a bookstore and I'll recognize the cover and be like, okay, I've seen this cover. So a lot of people are talking about it, which kind of cues me up to be like, okay, I could probably read this one and it would be good.
Yeah. There's like a crazy trend with how much TikTok is influencing the book industry. And I'll end on this because I know we're like at our time, but I just read a book this weekend called Every Last Summer by Carly Fortune. And it was like one of the best summary vibes books I've ever read. And the love story was just like immaculate. But she's a debut author and she only has like 5,000 followers on Instagram. It's not like she's like this massive, like renowned author. But TikTok like got hold of it and people kept like reposting it. And then YouTubers started talking about it. And she's like Colleen Hoover posted that she was reading it, and the author reposted and was like, I don't usually geek out about things, but Colleen Hoover just posted she's reading my book, and like I, like RIP me at this point. So it's just crazy that TikTok is so influential in so many like different industries, but I feel like in the book industry it is like, I mean, I feel like Barnes & Noble has to like think TikTok like single-handedly.
I agree. I'm glad that now it's not based off of how much money your like production or like whatever.
Yeah,
I like
marketing is in
too, because they've done the exact
same
thing, which has been fun to see.
It is so true. I'm hearing a lot about that with Phil's World, like how like record labels are really pushing artists to be like, oh, well, you need something big on TikTok first. And you're like, why? You know what I mean? Like for them to like prove that it's going to be good, like it'll go viral on TikTok first, Okay. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Sisterhood Society. This was really fun to put together. It's a like lighthearted episode, but the main thing that we wanted to come across is the intention behind spending time with your family and the people that you love most, because life is short, and just making the most of the time that you have with your summer. So hopefully this gave you some good ideas that you liked in interacting with, or maybe making a list from our ideas. Anyways, if you like what you heard on this podcast, you can give us a 5-star review on Apple. You can also subscribe to our video versions. We have Rumble and YouTube that you can watch us live. You can see the book covers. Since I was horrible at telling you the authors' names, you can just look at the cover and judge it for yourself, and subscribe. We love you guys, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.